Hi, wonderful you. Catherine B. Meyer here with a message, with a reminder, with an invitation, with an inspiration. Bliss has created you blissful and happy. How can we know the peace and joy of God? Certainly not through the sorrows and troubles of your old ways. Still down, relax with the Holy Spirit. You get to know the peace and joy of God by listening to Him as a small, eager child listens to his parents and receives the bliss every time. Wonderful. Can you imagine that? Can you feel it in your heart, how that would feel like in your whole body? Today we have lesson 71. Only God's plan for salvation will work. You may not realize that the ego has set up a plan for salvation in opposition to God's. It is this plan in which you believe. Since it is the opposite of God's, you also believe that to accept God's plan in place of the ego's is to be damned. This sounds preposterous, of course, yet after we have considered just what the ego's plan is, perhaps you will realize that however preposterous it may be, but you do believe in it. The ego's plan for salvation centers around holding grievances. It maintains that if someone else spoke or acted differently, if some external circumstances or event were changed, you would be saved. Thus, the source of salvation is constantly perceived as outside yourself. Each grievance you hold is a declaration and an assertion in which you believe that says, if this were different, I would be safe. The change of mind necessary for salvation is thus demanded of everyone and everything except yourself. The role assigned to your own mind in this plan then is simply to determine what other than itself must change if you are to be saved. According to this instant plane and perceived source of salvation is acceptable provided that it will not work. This ensures that the fruitless search will continue, for the illusion persists that, although this hope has always failed, there are still grounds for hope in other places and in other things. Another person will yet serve better. Another situation will yet offer success. Such is the ego's plan for your salvation. Surely you can see how it is in strict accord with the ego's basic doctrine. Seek, but do not find. For what could more surely guarantee that you will not find salvation than to channelize all your efforts in searching for it where it is not? God's plan for salvation works simply because by following His direction you seek for salvation where it is. But if you are to succeed as God promised you will, you must be willing to seek there only. Otherwise, your purpose is divided and you will attempt to follow two plans for salvation that are diametrically opposed in all ways. The result can only bring confusion, misery, and a deep sense of failure and despair. How can you escape all this? How can we escape all this? Very simply. The idea for today is the answer. Only God's plan for salvation will work. There can be no real conflict about this, because there is no possible alternative to God's plan that will save you. His is the only plan that is certain in its outcome. His is the only plan that must succeed. Let us practice recognizing this certainty today. Trust. It's always in your heart, but trust. The innocent child of God trusts God. Trusts the source. So trust again from your heart, not from your head.